Rising ground, folks. I'm on the way to another call. I think this is a heat maintenance, and I've been here a bunch of times before. I think something crazy was going on with this guy's heat pump the last time I was out here a few months back. I think this guy has 2 Lennox heat pumps, and I think we installed the one on the second floor a couple years back. But yeah, guys, I'm just here for a double heat maintenance on 2 heat pumps, 2 air handlers, and I'll see you guys when I get inside. I'll see you in a little bit. Peace. I am up in the attic, and for context, this customer has, I believe up here is a 3-ton heat pump, and downstairs it's a 2-ton heat pump, which does mainly the basement and some of the first floor. But this unit up here does a majority of the first floor and the basement. And guys, I'm upstairs first. I want to get my inside portion done first before I go outside, so I know I don't have to come back up here. And guys, look at this. That's not good. That is not good. This can definitely cause this coil to freeze in the summertime. You know what I'm going to recommend? This customer did mention he had issues with this filter getting stuck in the unit. Let me look at the size here. Hold on. I think I'm gonna recommend putting in a bigger filter, just so it doesn't get sucked in. What do you guys think? If this is a 16 by 20, the height is good, but the width, as you can see, it's a little too far in. I'm gonna recommend a 16 by 25. A 16 by 25 will get the filter further out, so it'll be easier for him to replace these filters, so this doesn't happen again. But yeah, I'll notate that when I get that downstairs. All right, but guys, let me put the door back in. He already had a brand new filter installed. I just had to open the door to take this one out. But let me put the door back on. I'll see y'all in a little bit. All right, guys, as you can see, I got the door on, and I just left a 1/4 inch sticking out, so he can take that out, and I'll let him know to get the bigger 1625 in. And this customer has a Remy Halo. We put this in a few years back, and the cell replacement isn't due until 2026. I think we put this in 23, I believe. So this, if you guys didn't know, with these Remy Halo LED, the cell, the bulb has to get replaced, I believe, every 3 years. It's either 3 or 4, but I think it's 3. Every 3 years you got to replace it. And how you guys will know, of course, without the sticker, is if the bulb has to get replaced, the green light on those purifiers, if the green light goes out, there's a good chance that you got to replace the bulb. So, and the customer has another one downstairs. I'm going to look at that one as well. But yeah, guys, I'm going to look at the inside. I'm going to look at the air handler downstairs in the basement, and I'm going to clean both of the outside heat pumps at the same time instead of coming in and out, in and out. But yeah, let me pack up and let's shoot downstairs in the basement. I'll see y'all in a little bit. All right, guys, this is the basement unit, and our supply is definitely kicking. Just by feeling my suction line being warm, I at least know that my heat pump is running, which is a good thing. But I'll still go out there in a few minutes to check both of my heat pumps. But first things first, our Remy Halo is on, and similar to the Halo that's upstairs in the attic, this bulb isn't due for replacement until 2026. But let's take this out. And another thing, guys, we inspect drains, but we don't flush drains in the fall with heat pumps, because most importantly, unless we had a probable cause to do so, let's say this is a first time customer and he said that he had previous drain line issues, that's something that we'll check in the fall anyway. But we always inspect drains, but unless we had a probable cause, we really don't do much with drains until the springtime, because once again, this heat pump doesn't accumulate water in the winter time. It only accumulates water when the customer turns the AC on in the spring. So, and like I said, guys, this is a simple setup here. I know we came out here in the spring to flush both of these drains, so like I said, we always look at them, but we don't get too crazy with these drains in the fall. But guys, with this setup here, the customer has an electronic air cleaner here, and we cleaned the cells on that electronic air cleaner the last time we came out here, I believe in either April or May. And I just asked the customer before I came down here, he said he just cleaned both cells a few weeks ago. So, and another thing, guys, this customer doesn't utilize this basement unit as much, because down here, guys, once again, this is the basement. Down here is already naturally cooler, so if anything, the customer said he only uses this basement unit in the winter just to keep things above freezing. So out of both of these units, this unit doesn't really get a lot of runtime, which is good, because it's less wear and tear on the equipment. But as far as with us doing the maintenance, we don't expect much wear and tear as far as like dirty filters. I mean, that's really the only thing. Making sure that the electric heater's working, making sure the purifier is running, and most importantly, we want to look at that filter. But as far as inside here, I mean, everything's still pretty much in good condition, because he doesn't even turn this unit on in the summer. So that's pretty good as far as with this basement being as cold as it is in the summer. So, but all right, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my meter, and I want to check for amps with my electric heat kit. Let me grab my meter. I'll be right back. All right, guys. I'm drawing the 20.6. Now, guys, this is another thing with electric heat kits. We test them on the maintenance to make sure it runs, but guys, there's really no threshold that we're looking for. Depends on the size of the unit, and of course depends on the kW. This is a 10 kW electric heat kit. Of course, a 20 kW could draw a little bit higher amps, but the point is, guys, from my experience, I always seen electric heat kits run between 18 to 20 or 18 to 21 amps. Remember, if the amps on this electric heat kit gets too high, it's still going to trip the breaker. So there's no chance of this electric heat kit overamping and still heating. If this electric heat kit, maybe if one of the coils shorted out, this would indeed cause a no heat scenario, and once again the breaker would trip. And once again, it's only 3 scenarios. It's either not drawing amps, meaning not working or not getting power. 2 is drawing that 18 to 20, 18 to 21 amp range, which is normal. Or if it's 3, if it's overamping, you're not going to have heat, because it's going to overamp and trip the breaker. So once again, guys, there's really no threshold I'm looking for on electric heat kits. It's just, if it's running, I definitely need to know the amps. But like I said, if I hook my meter up around this thing and I'm getting 29, 28 amps, then at that point I got to step back and say, wait, what's the age of the system? What size my breaker is? Let me just make sure that this thing isn't at that threshold of tripping a breaker. So, all right, guys. So now, and I checked the electronic air cleaner. That even though the customer said he cleaned it, I just pulled one of the cells out, and like I said, the cell, everything is still rocking and rolling. Everything is clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pack up and I'm going to go outside and let's take the panels off those heat pumps and let's make sure those bad boys are clean out there. I'll see y'all in a little bit. All right, guys, we're outside. This is the bigger unit for the second floor, and the smaller one is the one for the basement and the first floor. We still want to clean our electrical components and check our cap, but guys, most importantly, we do not, I repeat, per our company policy, we do not check refrigerant pressures on heat pumps in the winter, strictly due to the fact that if it's below 70, I know there's no humidity, therefore I'm expected to have a lower than normal head pressure and suction pressure. So guys, to each his own. I know companies that check refrigerant pressures year round, but guys, if we had to make an adjustment, meaning if we had to add or remove refrigerant charge, I can guarantee we'll still have to come back out on the next 70-degree day, meaning in the spring, and still check it again. So I'd rather wait until the spring to dial in the charge and make sure that this heat pump is working fine, which we did. We verified the last time we came out here in the spring that this heat pump had adequate charge. So guys, if I know that this heat pump had adequate charge for one, and two, we're still running this heat pump. So it's not like we're keeping this off all winter. If we run this heat pump and I know my refrigerant lines are hot, which is a good indication that this heat pump is giving out some heat, that's more than enough for me. Because remember guys, this heat pump works in tandem with your backup heat. We don't expect this heat pump to run all year, or we don't expect this heat pump to run all winter. Once it gets below that threshold, this heat pump will kick off on defrost and it's going to activate our backup heat. But guys, most importantly, as long as this heat pump is heating, like I said, that's more than enough for us. But like I said, we can always verify charge in the spring, and that's just our particular policy on refrigerant pressures in the winter. So, but guys, real quick, like I said, you know, our refrigerant lines are warm. We cleaned our electrical components. That cap, once again, I came out here a few months ago, so that cap is still new. I tested that cap is still within range. Cleaned the electrical components, and I got my screwdriver, and I tested my defrost board. That's very important too, guys. And unfortunately, if you don't do this, you're not going to know, or the customer is not going to know there's an issue until he comes out and this whole heat pump is covered in ice. But you get yourself a good screwdriver, hopefully insulated. You know, you don't want to shock yourself, but you find the test pin on that defrost board and you jump the pins out, and the fan should stop, and that should initiate a call for defrost. That at least lets you know that that board has the capability of turning this unit off. Now, if that didn't happen, guys, if I force a defrost and nothing happened, at that point, guys, I'll probably recommend replacing the board and the sensor. Per our policy, our company policy, we don't replace boards without replacing the defrost sensor. So we replace these two parts in tandem, because like I said, guys, the last thing you want to do is put a board in, and then now the exact same thing happens, and now you got to come back to do the sensor. So I'd rather do both at the same time and eliminate the headaches. But yeah, guys, I mean, like I said, guys, doing heat maintenance on heat pumps, there's not really much to it. The biggest thing you can do is, like I said, make sure you got some education on the equipment. It means if this heat pump doesn't run, I'm gonna get a call from this customer in like 2 months saying, hey, how come my electric bills are $900? And I get here, and now guess what? Without this heat pump running, he's running on 100% backup heat. And now, at that point, guys, he's gonna have no choice but to fix his heat pump. Otherwise, he's gonna be stuck with those high bills all year round. And guys, like I said, that's the pros and cons of heat pumps. I love heat pumps for what they're worth, guys, but one thing I always educate customers on, and one thing you guys should educate customers on too, is like, you gotta have realistic expectations with heat pumps. Heat pumps is still electric. There is no fossil fuel here. This customer has all electric in his house. Heat pumps are great during mild conditions, but whenever the temperature gets below a certain threshold, give or take 32, 35 degrees, I wanna say between December and February, during like the real cold times of the year, expect your energy bills or expect your electric bills to be higher than normal. And that's strictly due to the fact that this heat pump can't operate below a certain point without turning itself off to defrost. So that's something I always educate customers on. Even if they know it, you know, whenever I do maintenances, I like pulling customers to the side and just educating them just on the little things. Because like I said, guys, a lot of customers with heat pumps, I want to say like this, out of every 10 customers with a heat pump, maybe 4 or 5 out of them don't even know what I just said. And the only thing they know is they're looking at their electric bills, and then they say, wait, how come my bills are $1,200 this month? Is my unit broken? And then now either me or one of you guys are gonna have to go out there and educate them on how the heat pump is supposed to work, what to expect, how does the defrost sound? If the customer comes out here and the unit turns off on defrost, how does that sound? You know, if a customer doesn't know how it's supposed to sound, they may think that something's going on with the compressor. So I've been in a bunch of scenarios, guys, and all that leads back to you just educating the customers on what's normal and what's not, and like I said, why maintenance is important. So there you guys have it. I'm gonna turn right now I have the basement heat pump off. I'm gonna turn that back on, clean that, and like I said, guys, I gotta get up out of here because I got another service call to jet to. But there you guys have it, heat maintenance. I got both filters replaced upstairs. Well, I got both filters inside replaced inside the air handler. Everything is clean. The Remy Halo purifier LEDs are still rocking and rolling. My electric heat kits upstairs and downstairs are rocking and rolling. And out here, we tested our defrost. Everything is clean. I'm gonna do the same thing with the one right next to it, and we're gonna rock out. Peace out. I'll see you guys on the next one.